Ladies and gentlemen, the child prodigy, all grown up. And I remember decades ago at that great place known as Lincoln High School, now the home of Lincoln Park School of Performing Arts. He was doing a little stringing action of his own and following the Western Beaver Golden Beavers, his alma mater. They were playing Midland, and I was doing the game, and I said, "Can you give an old man a helping hand?" And he did. And he's been doing that ever since. He and his wife Brenda are dear friends. He is an icon when it comes to the newspaper business. Many years at the Beaver County Times, USA Today. When it comes to Major League Baseball, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter if it's maybe not even our hometown team, he can cover them all, even the Atlanta Braves and beyond. But we're going to focus on Pirate baseball right now, something that is in his sweet spot and has been for years. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Elvis. This is John Pratte. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Rob. How are you?
You know we love you in Beaver County. We just love everything you do. And I must tell you, for years, the reason I got this wonderful paper is because of your byline. And people have always gone to you. And I remember many years ago when I started putting you on the radio, you were on every sportscaster's speed dial. They all wanted to talk baseball with you. Nobody knows this game better than you. So let's break down the Pirates. But before we do that, the state of the game right now. How do you see Major League Baseball overall now?
Well, I think it's thriving. I mean, the revenues are up, TV ratings are up, especially in the local markets. A lot of teams are getting better ratings than ever. Attendance is as high as it's ever been, and certainly the money is for the players. Revenue for the owners, money going back to the players. We see record-setting contracts this winter. David Price, a couple of pitchers. David Price from the Red Sox gets $219 million. Zach Greinke gets $206 million from Arizona. So there's a lot of money to be had in those days of teams saying that they're in the red and they're losing money. It's certainly over between all the money now with the national TV contracts, and baseball really was at the center of all the leagues getting into the internet in the late 1990s, early 2000s. Became the first league to have a real big presence on the internet. And that too has been a gold mine for them, of able to stream games, live television games on delay, old-time games, radio broadcasts, in addition to all the team coverage, written stories, and all the marketing and merchandising and ticket sales. It's really been a gold mine. So a lot of money flowing into Major League Baseball these days.
You know, I love the newspaper business, and when the USA Today first hit newsstands decades ago, I was so thrilled there was this national newspaper. And I still get a thrill when I go into a Sheets and I see it there. But to know that you're there now, that's pretty special. How cool is it working for USA Today?
It's been a lot of fun these last 4 or 5 years working for them. I do a lot of stuff for the Sports Weekly magazine, which is fun. Some more in-depth features, which back in the halcyon days of the newspaper industry, when there was a lot more space, you could do a lot more in-depth features than unfortunately now. It's kind of hard to find the space to do that, and I get a chance to do that, especially in the Sports Weekly magazine, and then also do some daily coverage here and there in the daily, especially in the postseason and All-Star game. But it's a lot of fun. You grow up here, and I miss it. Sometimes I do pinch myself. If I have a story in USA Today, and I see it in there, and kind of, wow, it's kind of come a long way.
Listen, we're going to get back to baseball. John Pratte was here, does a lot for the USA Today and just about every baseball publication, still does some stuff for this hometown paper of ours. But you and I grew up with guys like Joe Tronzo, Andy Nuzzo. I mean, these were legends to me, and I still look at Mike Byers in that category too. I mean, he's a great writer, and there are so many others. But when you think of guys like Tronzo and Andy, do you get the same feeling that I do? And I'm not a journalist, but I still really envy those guys for what they did.
Oh, undoubtedly, you mentioned both of those guys. I owe a lot to both of them. Joe gave me my start when I was a 14-year-old kid at the News Tribune, the old Beaver Falls News Tribune, back in 1978.
Wow.
Had me cover Western Beaver football games, and I'd write them by hand on Saturday. They didn't have a paper on Sunday, so I'd get on Sunday morning. I didn't have my license, and I was 14. My dad would take me down to Beaver Falls to the office there, and I'd put it in the mail slot an envelope.
How cool
for
is that?
$5,
which
was a lot of bucks in 1978.
But you know, when I talk to guys like Dvorak and Doug Oster, driven the Post, this business, it is evolving, and it's becoming this age. And Megan Miller from the wonderful entertainment department here with Scott Haley shooting this on my Samsung phone. I mean, this is the wave of the future, but there's still something about the past that you got to cherish.
Yeah, and I mean, many nights I sit right over here in that where the sports department is and was, or still is, I guess, and with Andy Nuzzo, who like you said, is a legendary
Oh.
figure in Beaver County sports, and I mean, many times, sit many days and nights working together, and Andy become a dear friend, a mentor to me, a wealth of knowledge about the history of Beaver County sports, and he covered Pitt for many years. He was the preeminent authority on Pitt football in 1976 when he won the national championship. Tony Dorsett,
Who's
he
the
was
go-to
known
guy?
then from Hopewell. The day he said, this is one of the great Andy stories of all time, the day Tony Dorsett, or Dorsett as he was known back then before he went to the NFL, broke the all-time NCAA rushing record at Navy, in Annapolis against Navy. Well, they bring him in, they bring him out to an interview room. Andy heads him off, pulls him into a janitor's closet, and gets the exclusive from the hometown boy on breaking the all-time rushing record in college football. So, it's kind of neat, and it's something you really develop, and I was lucky enough to have that opportunity with Terry Francona when he got to the World Series in 2004 with Boston. He gave me some access to the Times. The Times sent me to cover that series between the Red Sox and Cardinals, and because he was the first Beaver County manager from Beaver County ever to manage the World Series, and he was great. He gave me some extra access that the other writers did and brought me into his office. And,
wait, we're going to get back to baseball, but you're just too humble. I don't think you realize you're respected worldwide. And when it comes to the game of baseball, Barry Bonds, who I'm a big fan of, always have been. I consider him the greatest home run hitter in the game, no matter what anyone says. You had a relationship with him better than anyone. When everybody wanted to talk to him and he didn't, he would always take time to talk to you because you established relationships and you became a trustworthy friend, and I think that's why these athletes respected that.
Well, but I also have to say it was also different when I started covering baseball in the late 80s. You didn't have cameras, for example. You didn't have phones to.
But these is pretty cool.
You didn't have phones, period.
I'm with John Serrato right now.
You had to pull the one on the wall and call back then. You didn't, and I'm saying.
And you'd have a laptop in a press box.
Exactly. I mean, you didn't have people, with their camera phones everywhere, with Twitter, with that. And guys didn't feel like everything they said was immediately going to get put out to the world like it is now.
But listen to me. When I'm in a press box and did 20 years of play-by-play with someone such as yourself, or if it would have been a Ron Cook or a Smizik, Axelrod, Dulac, I really put you and guys and women that write for a living in any genre on a pedestal. I don't think people realize the thing that Dvorak's always told me: go get the backstory.
Yeah.
That's what journalists do, and that's what you get every day that you buy the Times, the USA Today. You get the full story. We in entertainment can give you snippets, but if you want the whole story, start to finish, A through Z, that's what print's all about.
And it is, and like I said, the one downside a little bit, like I said, because papers are smaller now and the news hole has shrunk over the years, you don't able to do that all the time as much as you would like, but you're still able to do it enough. And I mean, the print business, the writing business, kind of lends itself more to that than the broadcast medium because of time constraints that you have. I mean, you have to be on and off out of each segment in such a period of time. But definitely the writing end, you can get more in depth, and also it gives you a chance. A lot of times when you don't have a microphone, I think anybody, especially players, especially early on in their careers, they get a little bit spooked with the microphones in their face. I mean, you're a 23-year-old kid. You come up like from the Dominican Republic, and all of a sudden there's 5 microphones in your face, and it's kind of like, ooh. But if I can sit here like this and just talk to someone with a notepad, it's a lot more relaxing, and I mean, just naturally you're going to, feel a little more apt to open up to somebody in that setting than somebody, than feel where they have camera lights.
Well, let me tell you, this is what you do best, and we're going to make this quick because I've already kept them too long. And folks, I will buy you a chili dog after this at the Brighton Hot Dog Shop. Deserving. That's the budget we now have. But anyway, listen, let's go through this lineup. Gregory Polanco, right field. Your thoughts?
I think that there's a lot more there. I think he's a very talented player, and he showed flashes of it, but I think he's got star potential. Whether he reaches it fully this year still might be a little early. He's still just 23, but he's on his way to being a really good big league player.
320 home runs. That's basically repeat year after year for the 2013 National League MVP, Andrew McCutcheon.
I think so, and I think he was hurt more than he let on last year. I think that knee bothered him more, and I know I saw him in December. You can just tell you could just tell when somebody feels good. I mean, you could tell he felt good, and I haven't been to spring training yet, but reading when he reported the other day with the guys that are already down the road, I mean, he seems pretty excited to be healthy again, and I think he took a little bit of a hit last year. I think it was the first time people criticized him a little bit when he got off to a slow start, and I think he's got a little bit something to prove to people this year.
You think Gunn will be back? So what does he bring to the table?
Well, pretty good power. He's a pretty good defender. He's a good base runner. For a guy that came from Korea, and it was kind of a grand experiment. No position player had ever come from the Korean League over here. I mean, he ended up third in the Rookie of the Year, and they're very optimistic. They won't put a timetable exactly when they think he'll be back, and I understand that. They don't want him to rush to try to meet a timetable, but I kind of get the feeling he might be ready by opening day, and if not, probably by the middle of April. So it looks pretty good with that knee injury and broken leg that he's recovered quite well over the winter from it.
All right, if he is not, it'll be Harrison, maybe a third, then he'll kick back to second. Josh Harrison, obviously I'm sure he'd like to kind of get back to his A game.
Yeah, it was a tough year. He got off to a bad start, and then he got hurt in early July and missed about 6 weeks. And he came back, and he hit better down the stretch, but certainly wasn't the same player he was the year before in 2014 when he was third in the league in hitting. And, that prompted them to give him the 4-year, $27 million contract on opening day last year. I don't know if he's quite as good as he was in 2014. That might have been a little bit of an outlier type year for him. But I think he's certainly better than he was last year. And I think if you find somewhere in the middle, the Pirates will be happy with that.
All right, now if Gunn doesn't come back, some names, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jaso and Celine Hansen. Tell me about these guys.
Yeah, Aline Hansen was a prospect who was kind of on the fast track. Last year at Indy in AAA, he struggled really for the first time in pro ball. I mean, he had a good year, but he didn't have a great year like he had other years in A ball and Double A. I think in a perfect world, they'd like him to not start off in the big leagues this year, but they may need him. There's also Gift Nwoki, who is from South Africa, who's he become the first African ever to play in the major leagues. He's there. They have Sean Rodriguez, of course, who was a super sub last year, and they also have Pedro Florimon, who was also up for a little bit last year. He was up and down a few times from Indianapolis. So probably any of those four would fill in. But again, I'm really starting to believe if they do need somebody to fill in at second base, it's going to be a very temporary type thing, and maybe just 2 or 3 weeks at the most. I'd be really surprised if he isn't back sometime in April.
Always a pleasure, but before we go, Garrett Cole, Francisco Liriano, niece who comes from the Mets in the Walker deal, Ryan Vogelsong back again, Jeff Locke, you're starting 5?
Yeah. I'm not real big on that. I'm going to be honest with you. And I realize pitching is expensive, and I realize that you're a small market team and they're not going to have a huge payroll, but I'd feel a lot better about their chances if they had one more starting pitcher you could rely on behind those top 3. And I know they're hoping that they have a couple. They're going to have Tyler Glasnow and Jameson Taillon at Indianapolis to start the year, and I know they're hoping at some point that they'll be ready, but you just don't want them to get in a situation where the starting rotation was so weak that by the time those guys are ready, they might be too far behind in the race.
Melanson, 51 saves, 2 ERA last couple of years for the lefty Watson. I think we're good there. One more prospect, and we're going to go. Josh Bell, where's he at?
AAA to start the year. He really came on. He made the move from right field to first base last year. Started off in Altoona, moved up to Indy for the last month of the minor league season. Improved defensively by leaps and bounds. He's a big guy, 6'3", 240. He hasn't hit for a whole lot of power yet, but the Pirates feel he will. Scouts from other teams that I've talked to have seen him play in the minor leagues think he will. I think he needs some more time in the minor leagues, but he's an intriguing guy, a switch hitter with power, and those are hard to find.
Well, you're hard to find too. You're the best. Ladies and gentlemen, when he puts his byline on it, it's the cold hard facts of the great game that is baseball. All right. Never thought I'd be doing this in the Times, did you? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to Megan Miller. Thanks to the wonderful folks here at the Times for letting me spend a little time on a Wednesday night. And I hope we didn't take up too much of your time, but I guarantee you it was worth it. Good night.